Hello, in this video for Medlium, we'll be looking at the Forms tab and how to create different forms that can be filled out in the patient's profiles. First, you go to the Forms tab, which is here underneath Messages. Then you click on the plus button on the top right to create a new form. Here it shows you some of the other forms that you've created in case you want to start from the starting point of a form that you already have. Or you can create a new blank form by pressing new blank form, and we'll start there. And here you have an option for creating the name, and you also have an option for setting the form as public or private. For public, anyone can see and use this form on their accounts. Private, only you can have that form. So we'll hit save. We'll keep it as public. Now that brings you over to the form editing page. At the top you have the three basic tabs: insert, form, and field. Insert, you can add one of these different types of form entries on to the form. And field, you can change the details of a field. So here we have a header called medical form. We can add another one by tapping header, and if we go over to field, we can change the name of that header to patient info. So now it doesn't say header, it says patient info. And we can also, if we like, delete the header that we got automatically by tapping on it and then tapping delete, selecting yes. Now all we have is patient info as a header. Now you have some other different fields that you can insert into the form. One of them that is just a pretty standard question or questionnaire for a patient profile is to check all that apply. If we go over to field, you can actually change check all that apply to something else. Check the following. Check all that apply is probably better, but just to show you that it can be changed to anything that you want. I'll change it to check the following. And here we can also change the choices by clicking on the choices underneath field at the top. And then you press on the plus button on the top right. And now here you can add new choices for each of the lines. So if we want the choices to be drinks, smokes, and other drugs, we just type drinks. We go to the next line, smokes, and then next line, other drugs, and we save. Then if I go back and close out of this, it shows the following choices that I can have for this form: drinks, smokes, and other drugs on the check the following. And you can do that the same way if you also have a multiple choice question. Select one, first choice, second choice, third choice. It's the same system. So if you go to choices and you say green, blue, brown, red, and you save. And here you can also delete any of the choices that you've added in case you want to get rid of them. And it's the same way. So you now have select one, green, blue, brown, red. So they have those two different form entries inserted in there. And now you can go back to insert, and there's one other field that I can show you called signature. And for that, it adds a signature field that you can tap and sign when you're filling out the form. And just to show you one more thing, there's quite a few different fields up here. You can also add in text, a text box, and you can title the text box. So if you just want a brief little text box that they can type, that they can fill in, you can title it something like reason for visit, and then that'll give a line for them to fill that in for reason for visit. And now if we close out of here and we go back to medical form, see it's all saved, and we go to the patient profile that we want to fill it out for, you can just go over to the patients tab, we'll select all patients and select Hope Brent, and go down to clinical notes, tap the plus button, open up the form that we want to edit, and here we have the form that we just created, and we can just tap on the different entries to change what options we have for this patient. So we could say they drink, they smoke, and they do other drugs, or they drink and they do other drugs by tapping that. I select one, green, blue, brown. We'll say they have brown eyes, and tap to sign. And here you sign with your finger, and you can change the color to black, blue, or red. We'll just leave it as black. And here we go. Done. And down here we have a reason for visit, and we'll just type in sneezing. And here we have our form that we just created all filled out on this patient's profile, and it'll now show up. If we tap on clinical notes, it shows up as a form in the posts, and that's how you create forms for patients to fill out in Medlium.